Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. I'm Dez.
And I'm Jay.
And this is our Suicide Squad review. Coming up next.
With those two bald guys.
Suicide Squad is a 2016 film based on characters from DC Comics. It's the third installment in the current DC movie franchise. It was written and directed by David Ayer and stars Will Smith, Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, Joel Kinnaman, Viola Davis, and Cara Delevingne, among others in an ensemble cast.
The story is set in the aftermath of the death of Superman during the battle with Doomsday. A secret government agency led by Amanda Waller is recruiting imprisoned supervillains to execute dangerous Black Ops missions and save the world from a powerful threat in exchange for reduced sentences. All right, here we are with episode 4, and we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad. And Dez, this was the first time you had seen it ever, so what were your initial thoughts on this movie?
My initial reaction was...
All right.
But I mean, you know, there are some redeeming qualities in this film. There are some things I liked. There was a lot that I wasn't too crazy about. I mean, I was a little disappointed, mainly because I typically like David Ayer's work.
Okay.
And this was a bit of a letdown. So that was my initial thought. The first thing that came to mind was like, wow, I'm really surprised this isn't that good.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair. I had a hard time when they switched up the marketing, because the initial marketing, the original trailer was a lot more in tone and mood with BVS. And then when BVS, you know, things kind of happened there and stuff, and there was backlash to that, and there's feedback that WB took to heart probably a little too much, because then you watch it turn into a Hot Topic ad after that. You know? The new trailers are, you got the pink and the purple and the bubbles and all. And yeah, so that when that started happening, I went into the film 50-50, like, I want this to be really great, but I don't know. So yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag. Let's start right off the bat then. I think the movie, from the very beginning, there's pacing issues right from the very first 2 minutes of the film.
Not gonna argue with you.
It feels very off. We don't need Deadshot and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, who's amazing.
Yeah.
Both of them are great in those roles, but we don't need those shots of them at Belle Reve at the beginning, because then we get to Amanda Waller and she's talking about her plan to unleash the Suicide Squad or whatever. And
then she kind of introduces them again.
Yeah, and introduces them again. Right, it doesn't make any sense.
It's a reintroduction that we didn't need, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Exactly, and so it just feels very redundant, and why did we see those first couple scenes in the first place?
That's fair.
Yeah, but then we get into the dossier.
Deadshot.
They call him Killer Croc. The Enchantress. She inhabits Dr. Moon's body now.
I really enjoyed it because I'm not really well versed in the supervillains of. I was more attracted to the concept of just a supervillain team coming together, like the opposite of the Justice League kind of thing. So it was the idea of a bunch of bad guys being on one team and how are they going to work together with their own personality. So I didn't really know the detail of each individual character. I wasn't really familiar with them. So the dossier kind of gave me a quick snapshot view of what this guy is all about or that girl is all about, so on and so forth. So I thought it was really cool. And plus I just enjoyed the way they did it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of the highlights of the film, I think.
It was a bright spot.
But we're immediately in trouble, I think, with this film, because as reported, David Ayer only had 6 weeks to write the script, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I think you can tell right away. And then David Ayer had his cut, which was more in line with the tone of Batman vs. Superman. And then Trailer Park, the company who they cut trailers together, hence the name, cool name, Trailer Park. They had them come in and cut a trailer, which was the new bubbly Hot Topic trailer. That caught on a little more. So then they'd had 2 cuts of the film where they actually had Trailer Park make their own cut of the film. And then after testing both versions with audiences, they kind of mashed the 2 together, and that's kind of what we got.
Oh, okay.
So it's a big mess.
Didn't know that.
On top of the 6 weeks he had to write it. It's a big mess.
Yeah, and it comes through in the film, unfortunately.
It really does. We do get some moments, I think, throughout where you get that potential, like we were talking about in our last two reviews, Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, where it hurts sometimes because there's so much potential there.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that throughout this whole film because, as you said, or as you showed, kind of a snore fest. It's kind of just boring. I don't know if I care a lot about what's happening. But there were moments where I went, oh, see, this could have been awesome.
And it's never a good thing when you're talking about the potential a film has instead of the film itself.
Yeah.
That's probably a telltale sign
Great
right there
point.
that there's something wrong. That's not a good thing.
My favorite scene in the film, actually, and the one I think that hurts the most to watch at the same time, is when Batman shows up on the top of the car when he's chasing. You see the Batmobile come around the corner and he's chasing Harley and Joker, and it's just so much fun. And you see the world of Gotham start to come alive in this new DCEU form.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't help it. It's like, I want more of that. I want this, and we're probably never gonna get it.
It's a shame because Affleck's Batman was pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's great. I think.
I thought he was pretty damn good.
Yeah, so that scene's amazing. It just feels like I'm in Gotham all of a sudden. It feels like I'm actually, it's the first time in the film, and I don't remember how far into the movie this is, but where I felt immersed in what's going on. Like, oh, I'm in Gotham. this is the Joker. I'm in the car with Harley and Joker,
Yeah.
and it was awesome. And they can't hold that standard up even halfway for the rest of the film.
Fair point. I totally agree with you. That I felt the same thing that you felt, but it kind of fell off really quick. It was like a bright light that burnt out really quick. It shined really bright, and then there's a dead bulb.
That's a great way to put it. I feel that way about the dossier, actually, right off the bat. I mean, even though I liked it, I agree with you. I like that it introduces you to characters that a lot of people may not know very quickly,
Right.
and it does it in a fun way. But with each character having their own quote-unquote theme song, it just feels like a music video after another music video, and not really like a movie.
It's almost like let's distract from the fact that this isn't a very good movie.
Yeah.
Almost. It kind of felt like that.
Well, and then we mentioned how much we love the scores in the last two films. This film is just as generic as you can get, so it's kind of a mess in the soundtrack department as well.
Yeah. There's really only two characters that are really well fleshed out, being Deadshot and Harley Quinn. Those are the only two that I really felt anything for. You know, the Killer Croc and Captain Boomerang and Diablo. They just kind of felt like they were there just as throw-ins, as sideshows, even though I liked some of those characters because it was the first time I seen El Diablo. I thought was pretty cool, and he could have had potentially a really nice backstory. Those are the only two that I was willing to emotionally invest myself into. And the Joker as well, but he was in it for like, what, 7 seconds?
Yeah, and if you take the Joker out of the film, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
And
It's kind of, again, it almost seems like we're just throwing a bunch of stuff at you to distract from the fact that this film's just not that good or not fleshed out. Almost like they know we kind of just put a mismatched crap on the screen, and we're going to throw a bunch of things, a bunch of Easter eggs and things that I think people will like. A lot of bright lights, a lot of good music. We'll throw the Joker in there. We'll give you a couple of Batman teases, but that's kind of just to cover up from the fact that it's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig, basically.
Yeah, I think a lot of problems come from this cut is a big mishmash, and maybe the David Ayer cut would have helped to smooth a lot of this out. But I also think that a lot of the problems are just inherent in the script, and there's no cut that's going to save that.
A lot of the characters suffered, particularly from there only being 6 weeks to write this script, mainly the Enchantress. So what are your thoughts on that character?
I think Cara Delevingne is actually good for the role. I think the effects, like her look, some of the effects in this film are pretty subpar, but most of the stuff with her like kind of warping into other places, all of that looks really good, I think. Just real quick side note here, I did really like the effect where you had her brother who shows up, Incubus, later. He does that thing where he like swings his arms out, and there's a few shots where the cars are kind of like torn apart, but they have like a very unique look to them. So I thought that was cool. But everything with Enchantress I thought was pretty good, with the huge exception is that I don't think she was the right villain for this story, because why would you put this team together for something like Enchantress? I mean, they were putting it together for the threat of something like a Superman or Enchantress. How would these people, other than maybe Diablo and maybe Killer Croc, what are they going to do against a threat like that? It doesn't make any sense.
There's no other competition besides those two. That's a really good point. And then the question in and of itself is like, what are they going to do when a bad Superman shows up? Well, we already saw that.
Yeah, Man of Steel.
Exactly. So I mean, you're not paying attention? Go to YouTube, guys. Go look at the clips.
Right, so Zod shows up, and you're going to send these people after Zod? No, they sent the whole army after Zod, and they couldn't do anything.
Exactly.
So, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, you got Killer Croc can kind of be your Aquaman, and they put his powers to good use. They showed him underwater. He could help with the bomb and all that stuff later toward the end. So they actually used him, which was good. I don't think his character was very well done, though.
No, I agree with you on that. The whole bro thing.
I'm going with you.
We got this.
I'm not asking, bruh. I live underground. Y'all are just tourists.
I didn't like it. I was like, I get it, but nah.
I didn't like his personality too much, but at least they used him toward the end. Because you got people like Boomerang. What did he do? Nothing.
Right.
Harley, really, she bashed a few heads in with her bat, and okay, who cares? Deadshot, he can shoot anything, never misses. How is that going to help against the Enchantress? I guess if you're looking at it as threats in general, maybe there are some threats that could show up that he could shoot in the head or something that would kill them. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess, all right. But I mean, yeah, the other ones, Harley included, even though she's great in the film, Margot Robbie's amazing as that character. What is she going to do? I mean, we saw what she can do. She can hit a few people in the head with a bat. Would have been a much stronger and better film had the Joker just been the big bad. Have that same exchange even where Harley and Joker are talking to each other via cell phone or whatever, and they're trying to meet up. And then when they actually do meet up, things go down because her loyalty is split between this new team that she's now befriended and her love or whatever. Just something. Something more a human level threat. So I did like the Enchantress. The story of Enchantress and Incubus is cool, but it wasn't for this movie. It just didn't work. I don't know how do you feel?
The Enchantress herself, she kind of just looked like a dirty belly dancer to me. Just being honest. Even though I kind of like the actress that played her, she did a good job. But I think the biggest problems with the Enchantress are in the writing, 100%. Yeah.
One thing I have to mention, because it's bothered me since the very first time I saw it, and supposedly it was different as it was written. I don't know. June Moon's supposed to be an archaeologist. She goes into this cave and she breaks open. Like, why are you
breaking stuff?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Supposedly, the way that's cut is entirely different than the David Ayer cut. And the rumor is the David Ayer cut, she breaks it for a reason. She doesn't just go into the cave and go, oh, look at this, and break it like she does in this version of the film. I just wanted to mention that because it bugs me every single time. It bugs me.
Yeah. Another character that I thought suffered from writing was Katana. What are your thoughts on her?
Frankly, Katana's useless.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no reason for her to be in it. The sword thing is compelling, so her sword captures the souls of the victims. There's a shot toward the end where Harley Quinn is kneeling down before Enchantress, and you get a quick shot to show that the sword is laying down there right by her feet, and she's probably going to pick it up. So I figured, oh, she's going to trap the Enchantress's soul in the sword, and that's how we're going to get June Moon saved and get all that, and that's how we're going to save the day. No, none of that happens.
And that'd have been great, but yeah.
They're not using these characters, like the powers they're setting up that they even do have, they don't use them in the story.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was in the David Ayer cut and it just all got excised. I don't know, but Katana really is useless. Boomerang's useless. Slipknot's useless. Harley's really useless. I mean, it's a bummer. They're all kind of useless.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because Colonel Flag is like the man, and then you also got Deadshot who just doesn't miss with whatever weapon you give him. But we're gonna bring some character in with a sword because that's the ticket. That's gonna solve every problem that we got. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, a lot of this movie it's rushed.
But it wouldn't make sense if, like you said, if they had used her powers correctly. It's not like it's used her powers at all.
Right, because I mean, at least with her, it is a sword that captures souls. That's pretty cool. It's not just throwing a boomerang, okay? At least it's some kind of quote-unquote magical type thing. So it might have a use, but then they don't use it. A lot of the characters are very cool. I don't think it's anything about the characters, but putting them together in this team for these type of threats, to me, does not make sense. And I'm not as well versed in the Suicide Squad comics as I am with like Batman and Superman. So I don't know if they're taking on threats with this type of team in the comics, and it makes sense. But I can tell you for the film and for the DCEU story they're telling, it just, it's wrong. Yeah. Hey, so I thought we'd take a quick break and talk about our featured friends.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Featured friends are other content creators we enjoy and support.
And we think you'll dig them too.
All right, so let's check out our featured friend.
Imbued with the power of the Odin Force, ready to drop the Mjolnir on unsuspecting mortals. Make way for the mighty All-Father himself. Are you ready for
Odin's Movie Blog, an entertaining, straightforward channel that brings you box office breakdowns, movie reviews, pop culture commentary, live chats, and group movie nights. So go visit Odin, the critic who's a cynic, and don't forget to tell him those two bald guys sent you.
And we're back?
So just mentioning Margot Robbie as Harley and Will Smith as Deadshot, we both feel those are the strongest characters
Yes.
and portrayals in the film.
Yes.
Margot Robbie has a lot of really great lines and there's a lot of moments with her where she's got great deliveries.
Are you the devil?
Maybe.
She's pretty much good across the board. And then Deadshot, Will Smith is great across the board as well. And then he gets a lot of comedy. I mean, both him and Harley do. But that's the thing about this film I did want to mention, because Will Smith's delivery and timing, I think, is really good as the character, period. But there are moments where he's leading the comedy. And I don't think there's a lot of comedy in this movie. I don't think it's a funny movie per se, but there were moments in it that I went, oh, okay, for all the stuff I'm not liking, that was genuinely humorous to me. I'm specifically thinking I really like the scene, the whole exchange between when they give Deadshot the gun.
I want full custody of my daughter, all right? And her mom can have, like, supervised visits, but her stank-ass boyfriend can't come. Donnell can't come.
Darnell's out.
He's out. Y'all gonna pay for my daughter's whole education, best schools. And if she can't cut it and her grades start slipping, I need you to white people that thing. You know how y'all do.
Oh, yeah.
In a better movie, like that would have been really well placed.
I liked the scene. I thought the scene worked. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't really see much humor in it, but it worked for me. I don't have any objections to any of it.
It wasn't cringy comedy.
No, it wasn't.
It just wasn't laugh out loud.
It wasn't laugh out loud. I didn't even like chuckle. I was like, oh, I just kind of gave it a nod. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I like that. And so, yeah, I'm with you. And then you lose me like probably the next 2 scenes after that.
I can agree with that, because it did make me laugh. There were maybe 4 or 5 scenes throughout the film that made me laugh. But then right after, it was like, yep, now we're back to dull.
Right.
So we've really kind of got 2 villains, because once June Moon becomes Enchantress permanently and then releases her brother, that's where all the kind of chaos starts. We've got a scene we set up in the boardroom where we get that really cool effect with the hand, where she becomes Enchantress, and we get to see it. And all that's really cool, but it sets up in that scene that she hates that. She doesn't want to have to do this anymore. She doesn't want to say Enchantress. She doesn't want to become the Enchantress. Very well established in the scene that she is not having a good time becoming this witch, right? And then, like, I swear, like, the next scene or maybe 2 scenes later, she's in bed. Rick Flagg's kind of up, I guess, kind of watching her, making sure she's okay. And I think it's supposed to be she whispers Enchantress in her sleep unknowingly. I think that's what's trying to be established. But to me, it just looks like she's laying there and all of a sudden says Enchantress for no reason whatsoever. And then she runs off and unleashes her brother.
Enchantress.
So the whole catalyst for the story even is stupid.
Yeah, you're right. It's just really poor storytelling. And matter of fact, the second and third acts in general, they just kind of just mesh together. There's no real true distinction. Like, I can tell the first act from the rest of the movie, but that's it. I can't tell the difference between Act 2 and Act 3.
I agree completely. It's just pacing. The
Right.
movie has pacing problems from the get-go, from the very beginning. And it never really recovers from those problems. In the last act, there's the bar scene. So talking about pacing, we have a big problem because even if you moved the bar scene, which is a great scene, one of the best scenes in the film, if you move that somewhere else in the film to maybe try to pace it better, it won't work. It's like that scene is written into the script to happen at this point in the story. And it just, you've had some action going on, there's been build up, and I think they're trying to alleviate some of that for a minute, but it just slows the movie down.
Yeah, it does.
And it just doesn't work in that particular part of the movie, unfortunately. But if you put that scene in a bubble, the acting's great, most of the dialogue's great. The exchange between the characters is excellent, actually. If the rest of the film would have been up to par with the bar scene, we would have had a great film.
Yes. So, yeah, I guess we can't talk about Suicide Squad without addressing the Joker. I really enjoyed seeing Joker on film, and especially with Harley Quinn in there. Margot Robbie's, I'm pretty sure I touched on this already, but her performance was... She stole pretty much every scene that she was in. She kind of captured that unhinged insanity that Harley Quinn's supposed to have. And then, of course, there's the Joker. I do enjoy Jared Leto's portrayal of the character. I didn't really care for his presentation or his costume so much. I didn't like the tattoos. I don't like my Joker having grills, stuff like that. But I think if you took that away, then it's fine.
Yeah, the slicked hair and the shiny purple jacket and the tattoos, I am not into any of it either. I don't like it at all.
Right.
But I was surprised because we were waiting to see how this Joker was going to be after Ledger. And he is different than Ledger. I do like him, though. I didn't think I would. I like Jared Leto, but I didn't think I would like him as Joker, because when I saw him in the trailer, when he smiled and stuff, I was like, I don't like this. I don't think I like it. But I actually really did end up liking his portrayal.
Jared Leto's acting was really on point, I thought. There were a few scenes in there where were really kind of eerie and creepy, and I think you need that from Jared Leto to be able to play the Joker, and I think he delivered on those aspects, just didn't look right.
And some of the better parts in the film are scenes with the Joker and Harley together. But unfortunately, they don't really add up to much in this story, and that's the problem. But again, like the bar scene in a bubble, they're all pretty well done. We have a little bit of a Batman versus Superman problem here, where the Joker and Harley scenes are sometimes set up to where you need to know what was going on in the history of the comics again. Specifically, I'm thinking of the scene with the Ace Chemicals, where Joker dares Harley to jump into the Ace Chemicals. Well, the problem with this is what's being established here is this is where Joker became Joker. He fell into those chemicals, and he didn't die. He figures she's going to die, so okay, have at it, see what happens to you. And then he eventually, he jumps in to save her because he doesn't want her to die. But the thing is the Joker has had many, many origin stories, and only a handful have involved chemicals. You have to know what the Joker's background is, know that they're choosing this particular story for him, that he fell into chemicals, know that that's why he's there at the Ace Chemical plant wanting Harley to jump. You have to know all that. None of that is in the film. None of it.
They did the assume you know thing again.
It's just not the right way to be doing these films. And I get they're trying to give fans like something that you've never seen this part of the comic on film before. Yeah, it's great. I love seeing this, but it has no context. So your efforts are pointless.
Right. You need context for that demographic of the audience that's not well versed in the comics. You definitely need that context.
So there probably isn't a whole lot to say about the ending, but let's touch on the ending a bit.
Might as well.
I'm talking specifically about when we're in the building with the Suicide Squad against Enchantress and Incubus.
Very anticlimactic. If I had to sum it up with one word, that would be it.
It's just another CG battle. We're getting Diablo showing that he has these powers and can become a demon, basically, a devil. So I'm glad they're using his powers. I don't understand his sudden loyalty to this team either. Now, maybe in another cut, this made more sense. It was paced better. I don't know. But theatrical or extended cut, either way, we get a guy who all of a sudden, you don't mess with my second family. My first one's gone, but you're not going to take my second one.
You can't have them. These are my people right here.
You barely know these people.
Yeah.
You didn't even like them.
Right, and there was no sign that you started to like them at any point either.
If we're being really, really friendly to this movie for a second, you get a little bit of exchange between him and Deadshot and him and Harley. There's some moments that they tried to build, but I'm hoping there was more of that that's on the cutting room floor, because otherwise I just don't think it's very good filmmaking. So they do, of course, defeat the Enchantress or send her away for however long, and we have June Moon there, who I assume would be dead, and then she's alive again. And I didn't get that either.
But there's an end credit scene that was pretty cool. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, here's the sad thing about this film. The best to me, hands down. I like the bar scene. I love the Harley Joker Batman scene. I didn't mention I love the Deadshot and Batman scene as well. The daughter stuff is played a little over the top. I wish the acting would have been a little better there. But I do like that there was an exchange between Deadshot and Batman here. That was good. But easily, the best scene in the whole movie isn't even technically in the film. It's the mid-credit scene between Amanda Waller and Bruce Wayne. I love that scene. It's just amazing. And it is a double-edged sword, though, because it does set up that whole potential, because you're watching Affleck. He's perfect in this scene as Bruce Wayne / Batman. I mean, because I'm saying Batman because he kind of turns into Batman for a minute. Because we get Waller very kind of unsubtly telling Bruce Wayne, I know you're Batman, by the way. And then you see this switch happen inside his personality and his brain that he just goes, no, you don't threaten me like that.
Good night.
You look tired. Should stop working nights.
You should shut it down. My friends and I will do it for you.
he's Batman all of a sudden. He's just not in the costume.
Yeah.
And that just made me so excited to see that Batman.
And then also it's kind of a head-scratching moment, too, because Amanda Waller clearly has all the ammo she needs to blackmail Batman to join the quote-unquote Suicide Squad. I mean, if you're looking for a deterrent against an evil Superman, who better than Batman, who actually almost defeated him?
Well, and don't forget, she mentions Flash.
Yeah.
She knows who Flash is. Maybe she can use the leverage of his dad's in prison to get him on board. The point is, if she wanted to get a team together to fight these powers, it doesn't make sense if she already knows who the actual superheroes are.
Right.
Go get them.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was an awesome scene, but there are some things that kind of, well, I don't think the scene itself was the problem. There was other things in the movie that made you kind of like, well, wait a minute, why?
Yeah.
You know? That's what I found myself saying a lot of time in this film, the 25th letter of the alphabet. Why? I said that a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of whys and, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That should be done better. Wait, but if that happens, that doesn't make sense if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that in this film. Can you blame David Ayer? In a way, yes, I can, but kind of only in the same way I can blame Zack Snyder for BVS, in that the studio mandated this is what's going to happen.
And you know what? That's fair. You got to do what your boss tells you to do.
At least with Batman versus Superman, there's a lot for me to love and enjoy, and I can see where they're going, and it's like, okay, hopefully they can correct this, but then the very next movie is this one. And so it's just very disappointing, and yeah, it's disappointing. That's the best word I can think of. Let's go ahead and sum up Suicide Squad. Actually, before we do that, where are these guys?
That's a good observation. I have no idea.
Yeah, not that I'm complaining.
No interruptions this show.
Yeah, I guess not. Maybe they're in the hospital from that fight they had.
It's possible. Could be licking their wounds.
Yeah, I don't know. We should take advantage of it, though. So what did you think?
Suicide Squad was a film that I got very, very little enjoyment from watching. I think I enjoyed maybe about a half hour's worth of this film. The rest is pretty much ambient. It's very snooze-worthy. It's kind of disappointing because I'm a big fan of David Ayer's work. I really liked End of Watch, and I loved Training Day. This film suffers from a rushed script, and I think if Ayers were given the proper time to work on the script and had control over the edits, that this film could have possibly been a very strong piece to the DCEU puzzle. But because none of that happened, this is probably the worst and least important piece. So with that being said, and all of this movie's flaws, I can't give Suicide Squad more than one shiny bald head.
There's a lot in this film to like. Actually, no, there's not. There's some stuff in this film to like, and there is potential in moments. Harley, Deadshot, Joker, Batman, all of that is really, really well done and very cool. But that's about all I can say about this film. There's really not a lot to like. It's pretty dull. It doesn't really go anywhere. And overall, it's a forgettable entry in the DCEU. And I would give it, at max, 1.5 shiny bald heads. That was our Suicide Squad review. We really hope you enjoyed it, and you'll join us next time as we continue our DC film reviews.
So join us next time, right here on this couch.
Last time on the couch, we reviewed Batman vs. Superman, so if you missed it, now's a great time to check it out. If you enjoy what we're doing, please hit that like button and subscribe. To receive alerts when new videos are posted, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thanks, we really appreciate you.